So my name is Michał Barciś. I'm from Technology Innovation Institute in Abu Dhabi, UAE. So basically almost as far as it gets from here. And 2 years ago, we contributed this feature of being able to throw your drone and make it fly like this. And this is what I will talk about today. But before we start, I really wanted to thank the whole community because there are really so many people that helped us make it work, including Matthias that was just talking before, then Ramon connecting us with everyone that could help. And when we started working on it 2 years ago, the best advice that we could get, how to get this feature working, like what to do to get the drone start by throwing it into the air in PX4, was install Autopilot. And I didn't like it that much, right? So because of that, we tried to find a way to change the situation. And there were already some, so it was not that bad. There were also some discussions like how we can make it work. There was even some pieces of code that were extremely outdated, like nothing was up to date from these pieces of code, but they sort of gave us the ideas what to do to make it work. And we worked on that, and it's working right now. So in 1.15, you can test it. Starting from 1.15, you can test it and throw your drones and start like this. But why do we even do that? I mean, first of all, like how cool is that, right? Yeah. So there was a big part of the motivation in that. And then from the practical perspective, if you want to get flying very fast, I mean, I cannot think about a better way to get your drones to the air faster than this. I will also tell you a little bit more about the client-facing considerations here, but I will get to that at the end. For now, let's just focus on the coolness and getting the drone start fast. What did we do? Maybe before the slide, there should be one about the safety. Like you're holding your drone in your hand, right? And the drone can potentially start. We tried to implement some things there to make it safe, and I will talk about it a little bit more. But if you want to do that, you should really know what you are doing, right? So maybe don't start it with a platform that barely flies. Make sure that you know about PX4 before doing that. And think what can go wrong, because there are many things that can go wrong. So yeah, before throwing your drone, consider this. And in principle, how does it work? What do you need to do? There are just a couple of steps. First of all, there is a parameter that you need to set, throw enabled. You set it to 1, and that will change how your drone behaves. So if you arm your drone, it will not anymore start spinning the propellers. It will just beep and nothing else. You will hear the same beep that you are familiar with, but it will be beeping all the time. Not just once, but all the time. And that means that the drone is ready to throw. At that point, you can just throw it in the air. And the PX4 will detect that there was sufficient movement, that it moves fast enough. And as soon as it starts falling, the motors will engage. So that's basically how it is. After the motors engage, the drone stabilizes, and then it can fly. And whatever mode you set it to, the mode will be there. Right, so if you throw it in position mode, it will be flying in position mode. You throw it in the stabilized, it will be in the stabilized mode. You can also do the same with offboard control. This is how we were using it a lot. So you can have your program already running, then you throw the drone, and the program takes over. There are some things that you can tweak. Actually, not that many. There are just 2 parameters. One is to enable the feature, and then the other one is to set the speed. So I've mentioned, like you throw the drone and then it needs to detect sufficient movement. What we are actually checking is the speed that the drone is exceeding. We added this mainly for safety. So if you just move your drone around, it will not start because it detects that it's falling. You first need to exceed the throw velocity, and only then it will turn on. If this parameter is too low, you will see that you carry the drone, it turns on. If it's too high, you throw the drone and it doesn't turn on. So that's how you can tune it. In the documentation, you will see also this method that we were using and recommend to use to test this feature, where you take off the propeller and you just throw the drone above you. And then you catch it, right? And then you can see if the drone turns on at the correct moment or not. It should turn on just at the apex of the throw. There is one important thing. You need someone to help you with that. Because if you catch the drone and the propellers are still spinning, you might harm yourself. So it's better to have another person that can engage the kill switch before you catch the drone. And yeah, we've been testing this like this. It works pretty well. So it's a pretty reliable way to test it. And then the fun part of the presentation, the things that were going wrong, where we're developing it, and and then also testing. We used it after we developed the future. We used it a lot for different things, and yeah, we had some experience with things going wrong. So first of all, when we've got everything working in a stabilized mode, so we were already throwing it, and then we were like, let's try different modes, right? Let's see how it works with different modes. The first one was hold mode. We thought it's going to be fun, right? You throw it and it stays there. But actually, that's not how it works. The hold mode remembers the position where you engage the hold mode. So you throw it and it comes back to you. Yeah, so that was fun. Later, we switched to the position mode, which should be a little bit better because the position mode just keeps the velocities at 0. So it will stay wherever it is. So yeah, we thought that that's going to be smooth. So then we throw the drone, and actually, that was interesting because initially it was working, right? I've had one colleague that was together with me, and everything was working perfectly. And then I switched the colleague to a different one, and it was not working. Like, you throw the drone and it falls down. It was just spinning very slowly with the propellers. And then I was like, we could recommend that you can only work with this one colleague and not with the other one, but maybe that doesn't really work. So we investigated a little bit more, and what we found out is that in the position mode, in the controller for the position mode, there's like a state machine that requires at the beginning the intent to take off. So there is actually a check that you push the throttle above 60% before the takeoff. And one of the pilots was doing this by default. They were just putting the throttle above the 60%, and the other one was not doing that. And without doing it, the propellers just spin very slowly. So after that, we needed to add another check to make sure that in the throw mode, the state machine is just skipping to the next state and is not requiring the takeoff. And then finally, so that was really cool. I think one of the most memorable moments from this project. So we've already tested it a lot. We were throwing the drone in all of the modes, and we believe that it works pretty well. So we started exposing it to our clients. And for this one, they wanted us to drop it from 50 meters. So we go to the desert, and it was very windy. So I don't have photos, but the conditions were similar to what you can see here on the generated graphics, right? Wind everywhere, lots of sand. So we had I think it was a DJI drone and another drone that carries our small drone, Pix4Vision, by the way, from Holybro. Very nice drones. And we drop it and it just falls down. Nothing happens, right? So it was amazing because everyone was really, excited. There is a big drone that carries our drone, and that's it. We look in the logs. So fortunately, we had the ability to do it right there. And we've seen that the freefall was never detected. So the drone never realized that it's free-falling. We used the freefall detector from the PX4. And we found out that with this kind of wind, the drone immediately just started spinning. And the freefall detector was relying on the accelerometer to show 0. That never happened because the drone was spinning. Yeah, so we got rid of that. And in the current version, we don't rely on the freefall anymore. We just detect the velocity that should be pointing downwards. And that's it. And then the most fun part, let's see if the video works. So, it doesn't work here very well. Let me pull it from my computer. So, normally we blame pilots for stuff. Here, you can not only blame pilot, but you can also blame the person that's throwing. So you have 2 people to blame. And you can throw it in so many wrong ways. You throw it too low, you throw it not strong enough, you throw it with too much spinning, you throw it in the wrong direction. Maybe there is a net on the way. So yeah, it becomes fun. And honestly, with some of the throws, you can see, I was really impressed how well the system works. PX4, we didn't really do the stabilization part ourselves, right? But sometimes you can throw it, it spins a lot, but still somehow manages to stabilize. Sometimes maybe it goes into a cage, sometimes not. It was also like, it looks like a pretty big space to fly, right, for testing. But for this feature, it's like borderline big enough. When we were testing in the desert, when there was like lots of space everywhere, oh, you've seen this one, was very cool. When there was lots of space everywhere, it was much more reliable. Like here, we ended so many times in the net. If there was no net, it would just stabilize and it will continue flying. But yeah, and then the guys like this kind of throws the most. Like you throw it and it stabilizes and just goes up without even falling down. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So if you ever have a need to blame two people for one failure, then play with this feature, and then that could be your way. PowerPoint is again making issues, or? Sorry for that. Okay, now it works. Okay, and as I've mentioned before, a little bit of a client-facing stuff related to this. So of course, we need to find a way to make this contribution for something that we can advertise later. And there are multiple things that we used it for. I think the most interesting one that I've seen so far was for the inspection of small spaces. That's something that we didn't test that much yet, so I cannot really advertise that it works. But one of the clients asked us to inspect like a closed small space, and the access was only from the top. So you can imagine opening something like this, and then needed to deploy the drone. And then our designers, they came up with some fancy ideas how to make a lift that will make the drone go down and then somehow make it fly inside. But one of the leads said like, oh, maybe we can just try this feature. And you just drop the drone and maybe it will work. So we are currently working on it. There is still the drone. We need to first produce the drone to fly in this, but I think this will be the main way to deploy the drone into the inspected area. So hopefully that works well. And then apart from this, we tested it a lot for the search and rescue and rapid disaster response. So you can imagine having another platform that carries the drones, drops them into the place where disaster happens. So we are calling this motherships, like those big drones that move fast and they can go far. And then instead of having just one camera in the air for the mothership, you can deploy many small cameras and you can see what happens there. I put a small star there because this feature as it is right now, you cannot deploy it from a moving platform. You need to add some modifications to make it happen, but it's definitely possible. And for that, I also have a nice video to show you. So we've been using this as a mothership. That's one of the locally developed drones. And we put 6 Pix4Vision drones on the bottom. A little bit modified, right? We needed to add our own holder to it. And yeah, we've shown that this actually works. We had only one flight with this big drone, but still the reliability was there. It just worked the first time. And then with like this many drones, you can do you can do any mission on top of that you want, right? So it switches to your missions. I think the most for me the application that I like the most was for the disaster response, where there is like a big disaster somewhere and you would like, for instance, to capture all of the entrances to the building. If you have only one drone, you can only look at one at a time. If you deploy multiple drones, you can see all of the entrances. And yeah, the other part is for the rest of the project, but that's basically it. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much.
Is TII hiring right now?
Sorry?
Are you hiring?
Of course.
Yes. What positions?
Right now, I think we are hiring almost.
Don't choke on the most important part.
We are hiring almost on all fronts: automation engineers, designers. Yeah, mostly this.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.